Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of The Snake Pit. I'm your host, Son of Bat, and I'm joined by my host, Son of Phantom.
What's up, guys?
And today we're talking about The Funhouse. Released in 1981, The Funhouse is an American slasher film directed by Tobe Hooper, written by Larry Block, and produced by Stephen Bernhardt and Derek Power and Mace Newfield and Mark L. Lester, starring Elizabeth Berridge, Cooper Huckabee, William Finley, and Kevin Conway. Cinematography by Andrew Laszlo. Edited by Mark Hofstra. Music by John Beal. Production companies Universal Pictures and Mace Newfield Productions. Distributed by Universal Pictures and released on March 13th, 1981, with a runtime of 96 minutes on a budget of estimated at $2 million, with a box office return of $7.9 million. So it made its money back, but this was a pretty unsuccessful movie upon release. A lot of people, thought it was just pretty meh, pretty mid, especially coming from Tobe Hooper after, being off the heels of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Eaten Alive, two movies I absolutely love, by the way. This is a weird one. This is a movie that I never really liked to a degree. I remember every time I had seen it, it had been on TV, and it was in the last 10 minutes, and we'll get into it later. In the last 10 minutes fucking drag this movie. It's not a good way to come into it. And I remember seeing the poster with the weird Jack in the Box thing and just thinking it was some weird clown movie. It just looked kind of cheap, so I always avoided it. But then once I went on a run of getting slasher movies, I decided, fuck it, I might as well just pick this one up. It's by Tobe Hooper. How bad can it be? And it's not bad. It's not horrible. Essentially, we have this small town where there's a traveling fair, but our protagonist, Amy, she basically goes to said fair with her boyfriend, her friend Richie, and his girlfriend. Can't remember, generic blonde girl, a million in these movies. They smoke a bunch of weed. They go to this really seedy carnival that makes the dark carnival, look even worse. This place actually looks like a step above the dark carnival. I was saying Insane Clown Posse must have was hitting nitrous on the couch looking at this movie and been like, yo, bro, we can do this shit, man. Let's totally do this. But it's a sleaze fest. There's strippers, there's fucking animal freak shows, there's the Funhouse, which is really a fucking, haunted house. Pretty cool time. There's a B plot to this movie involving her little brother. I believe his name is Joey. And he basically just always tries to scare her. And his whole plot is he's trying to sneak into the carnival as well. And along the way, he gets, freaked out by dogs, shotgun wielding rednecks, and, molesty carny folk. Pretty wild movie. Really low body count for a slasher. We only get 4 people here. And we got some good atmosphere. And essentially what happens is, these stupid kids decide that they're going to spend the night in the fun house. God knows why. Smoke whatever shit swag weed joints they have. Fucking bone all 2 times and then stay in there all night. And they basically witness a murder. Shit goes crazy. The man, not even the man, the retard fucking mongoloid in the Frankenstein mask who mans the front doors kills the fortune teller, and all hell breaks loose. We basically have these kids trying to get out, and they get picked off one by one. I don't want to spoil it too much because for being a slasher, it is very different. I wouldn't even consider it a slasher. It's more of a thriller pseudo-slasher. But Phantom, what did you think of this movie?
It's a pretty good movie. Honestly, the setting for me, kind of throws off. I don't really like the scary carnival vibe for most movies, and I thought a bunch of the production was kind of cheap for me. I did enjoy it at times. It's kind of interesting, and there's a bunch of the cinematography and the set is pretty cool. They do a good job of making the carnival scary per se, but at the same time, it's I don't know, I feel like it can get a lot more because you don't get a kill or anything really fucked up happen for an hour and 7 minutes in, and by that time I'm expecting some really fucked up shit to happen, and then basically it's just a sad little retarded fucking monster just gets cucked by a fucking old gypsy, and it's fucking
and then all hell breaks loose from there on out.
It's fucking hilarious. It was great to watch, like, really stoned. Like, I thought it was fun, but I don't know. It's not like a fantastic movie. It's like it's one of the in its own like niche category, and like you can have fun watching it. But I don't know. It's not. Don't expect greatness here.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's definitely a mid-tier movie. If we're gonna put it in the 80s slashers, it is mid-tier at best. It's interesting. It's got a lot of cool ideas going for it. There's a novelization that apparently came out during or it was being made in tandem with the movie and came out after, so it's not based off.
Sounds way better.
Yeah,
way more violent.
Actually, no. So the novel. I don't know. I read some of what it's supposed to be about. Apparently, there's differences to it. What they are, I don't know. Gunter might even be a dog. Gunter is the retard mongoloid fang tooth demon dog man thing. Thingy. Yeah, but so yeah, no. On that point, in a second. So basically, first, the novel is supposed to be by Dean Koontz, Stephen King's ultimate rival. So that might be interesting to read. But what Phantom was saying is, yeah, this movie could have been way better. It could have been way more violent. It could have been way more graphic. We were just reading that Gunter was supposed to be a lot more rapey, a lot more clawy, and a lot more like just a wild beast, like straight up tearing people to pieces is what it said. We're supposed to have a different, more violent ending, and it's just a shame because
like it's just like an abused child basically all throughout the whole thing. Like he gets like his master makes him like hit himself and shit.
Yeah.
And, like he's just like being a bitch like the whole time. It's crazy.
Yeah, and every kill is like again, it's a noose going around a guy's neck. I mean, the second blow is Buddy Han Solo, we were calling him, puts an axe in his head. It's not even Gunter doing it. He kills a girl by presumably putting her head in a fan, but you don't see anything, and he gets killed in the most anticlimactic way. So yeah, there was supposed to be a better body count. He wasn't supposed to die at the end. More on that later, but like yeah, it's very mid-tier. It's still not one of my favorites, but again, there's a lot that I do like about this movie. I mean, that opening title crawl where you see all the animatronics, spooky. I fucked with it. That was cool. It set the tone right away. And I remember the first time I actually sat down and watched this movie the whole way through, because before that I'd only caught glimpses of it. I was like, okay, this might actually have some potential. The whole opening where they broke the fourth wall, where they referenced Psycho and Halloween, kind of made it have a self-aware feeling where it's like, okay, this movie knows what it's going to be. And if I know my slasher movies, every time a new one came out after like Psycho, the next guy, like John Carpenter's like, all right, I'm going to outdo that guy. And then, when Sean Cunningham did Friday the 13th, he was like, I'm going to outdo that guy. So I was expecting there to be some sort of one-upsmanship. There was going to be a high body count or a really graphic fucking kill count. And it didn't deliver on either of those, which was a shame because some of the real surreal scenes, like when the kid gets a shotgun pulled on him and the dog and stuff, and even the setting of the carnival are genuinely unsettling. You could have done a lot. Yeah, really dark. Oh, speaking of which, I forgot there's a cool magician who dresses up like Dracula and he stakes some chick, and it's just so fucking great. Some drunk, bro. Like, it's so fucking wild. But yeah, there was a lot that could have been done with this movie, and it fell flat. Like, in the runtime, like, it goes briskly for a while. But in those last 10 minutes, and I was warning Phantom about this before we even watched it. I'm like, it's a good movie, but those last 10 minutes are going to make you want to go to sleep. Like, it is brutally slow. And can you attest to that? How were those last 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, yeah, the last, 12, 13 minutes of this movie are just a girl, walking around in, the underbelly of the Funhouse, just fucking looking lost, like she doesn't know how to walk. She just crawls around this weird stares at these gears. It's so long. Every she moves 8 feet per 2 minutes through this tiny fucking room, and it's it's very painful to watch. I don't understand how it wasn't cut down. There's so many
It was too long. It was too fucking long.
Directors had some interesting comments and tweaks to this movie because it could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot better.
And it really is a shame because I'm a huge Tobe Hooper fan. I think, and a lot of people have pointed out there are parallels to his previous two movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Eaten Alive, the themes being family, demented families. And I think that works with this carnival aspect. But it's definitely, if we're going to count those as a trilogy of itself, because some people do consider Eaten Alive as a spiritual sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And if we're going down that road with the Funhouse, it's definitely the weakest of the three. Still keeps the surrealness to it that the first two maintained, but man, it really dragged by the end. But from what I'm reading, no, I was actually wrong. Phantom, you were right. Some of the gore does get retained in the original book. Some of the more brutalized attacks are in the book, but not all of it. There's a completely different ending, which I will get into, but there's a total kill count of 6 with this. We could have gotten way more. If we count the monster dying, that it makes 6, but you get the psychic lady, the gypsy, you get Richie, Liz, Barker, and Buzz. They all die. The Barker, and speaking of the Barker, he plays 3 different Barkers in the movie. He plays the freak show guy, he plays the funhouse guy, and he plays the striptease guy. So that's pretty wild, skilled acting right there. He was actually really good. His death was pretty anticlimactic as well. I mean, a lot of these deaths were, but that one was pretty weak. Although I guess Buzz, the fucking Han Solo guy, he was a likable character to a degree. He was kicking ass. He was taking initiative. And I like seeing that in a slasher movie. Everyone's usually got their heads up their asses, just don't know what to do.
Doing little stupid things. Yeah.
But
finally.
Finally someone
killed him. He just straight up killed him. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna die," and did the fucking manly thing and just threw him on a sword. Perfect. Good job, dog.
Yeah, but fuck, man. Other than that, though, those deaths were pretty sad in the effects department, and it's a shame because I've heard rumors that this movie was supposed to be is allegedly a video nasty. I don't know if it's on the Section 3 list or if it's on the original 72. However, I don't see this as a video nasty due to it being not even trimmed. Some of the scenes weren't even filmed. But yeah, I think the common misconception is there was another movie called The Last House on Dead End Street that originally was called The Funhouse. And I think that movie is the one that was supposed to be on the list because this is a Universal film. This is almost as clean as it gets. The gore is very minimal. There are some cool things, like one of the clown props is the same one, or one of the ones that shows up outside of Captain Spaulding's gas station in House of a Thousand Corpses, which I don't want to say I knew, but I felt a vibe looking at one of them. I'm like, that looks like a familiar fucking clown. You never forget a clown's fucking face, bro. And yeah, no, the animal freaks, the freak show were all 100% genuine. All that shit was really cool. I loved the whole basis of what was going on. It's just the ending execution was piss poor. The original ending was actually supposed to be, believe it or not, longer, where Amy returns home and she finds that Joey and her fucking parents have all been ripped to pieces, and then Gunther jumps out of her parents' closet, and then the screen cuts to black before we know what happens to Amy. And I think that would have been crazy because the monster, we only see him for a bit and he gets killed off. If this is supposed to be a slasher movie and possible sequels were fringing on Universal's mind, how the hell are you going to do that when you killed the fucker in one of the most anticlimactic endings? Even if he came back from it, who would give a fuck at that point? That was just, it was a way to literally it spiraled. Every time I watched the movie too, I was telling Phantom, I'm like, I get hyped for watching it. And then I instantly remember, I'm like, oh, wait, that ending, it literally just derails the whole thing. And it's a shame because, I'm a huge Tobe Hooper fan. But, some people might consider this one of his worst or one of his more mid movies compared to his more ambitious stuff like Life Force. But I personally think his worst one is Poltergeist because that would only come out a year after that. And I think apparently he was working on this. And then because Steven Spielberg wanted him to do E.T., and then he was like, nah, I'm doing this. And then he went and did Poltergeist. But we all know he didn't do Poltergeist. Steven Spielberg directed that whole fucking movie. And, I don't know. It's okay. It's kind of better than the Toolbox Murders in some ways. His remake of it. But it's not great. It's definitely not a video nasty. But it's not horrible. It was a fun way to get, like the Phantom said, it was a fun way to get baked and kill a few minutes. If you were to recommend this to anyone, would you? And what would you rate this on a scale from 1 to 10?
Yeah, honestly, this is one of those ones where you have to be interested in it. I wouldn't really recommend it to anyone. I don't really know anyone to recommend it to.
Yeah, it's hard to categorize.
Yeah, but I guess rating's pretty easy for me. It's a solid 6.5. It has some good theatrical components to it, and it's a pretty interesting movie all around, but it doesn't have that wow factor for me in any way. It didn't wow me in the ways that this movie was trying to It didn't scare me, and the ending, like you said, just killed it.
Yeah, honestly, a slightly more fair rating than I think, because I've seen this so many times and I've had such a biased history to it. Well, I'm not gonna tank the rating on this. It's got good shit going for it. Like I said, I'm probably gonna have to rate this about like a 5.5, maybe a 5. Um, you could do worse. There's worse slasher movies out there. Certainly a lot worse with the slasher genre. We've been calling it a slasher the whole time. It's more a pseudo slasher, like you said, more of an escape thriller. The body count's just too low. The gore's not there. The monster does look cool. The setting's cool. But it's just for a Tobe Hooper movie, especially after Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Eaten Alive.
Expecting way more.
Yeah, no,
Way more.
and yeah, unfortunately didn't deliver. So yeah, the Funhouse. Definitely check it out if you need to smack everything off your fucking list. I mean, I think the only reason why I bought this one was because I was trying to get every major 80s slasher movie, so it came down to this one. But you could do better. You could do worse. It's the Funhouse. Check it out at your own risk. Hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.